You don't. You look beautiful.
Okay.
Okay, we are live. Let's give it a few minutes. Hey, y'all, come on up in here. So we got one person coming in. Sometimes they're like late bloomers. I did repost just now on Instagram and I have not been posting on Facebook like I should be.
I rarely go on Facebook.
I know.
I need to start because I have like 9,000 people. You would never
Mhm.
know it. But one thing that I don't like about Facebook, and that's probably why I don't go on there, if you don't post that much, it's like if
Mhm.
you're out of sight, out of mind,
Yeah.
they won't repost your stuff. Like
No.
the people won't see you. So,
Right. Correct.
the algorithms, it's like if you're not consistent on Facebook, they like, oh, okay, you don't want to be on my platform, then we won't show your stuff. So that's why
Right.
I don't even go on there,
That is very true.
unfortunately.
Very true. Rude. Rude. Facebook. Rude.
Yeah.
See. All right, we're gonna give it a little bit more time.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
again, I'm going to say it again. You in red, honey.
Is that the color of choice?
Oh my God. I love to see you in your red. You're so
Oh,
gorgeous. Like it
thank you.
complements your skin. Like you always need to have on red lipstick and you always need to have on a red top. Always.
Okay. Is that the color of choice? All right, let me stick
Yes.
to that.
Yes. Yes. You
Thank
look
you.
gorgeous.
Thank
You always
you.
look gorgeous though.
You as well, Miss Sabrina. You as well.
I miss your face like in person though.
I know it's been too long.
I
Let's
know.
go touch and hug you.
I know. I know.
It's been way too long.
It
We're
has.
gonna get it. We're gonna get. I was actually looking at my calendar the other day to see what day is good for me to come out there to you. 'Cause I
Okay.
really am gonna do it.
Yeah. You know I'm coming into town this Saturday.
No, I did not know this.
Yeah, because I'm doing DC Fashion Week.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
and
Yeah.
I literally was coming in town and then I was shooting out of town. But to be
Mhm.
honest with you, like I'm thinking about it, I'm like, maybe I should get a room. But by the time I get a room, I get this, I get that, because I would have to bring my dogs and da 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 da.
Mhm.
It would cost me $500 just for one night, and that's including everything in food and everything.
Goodness gracious.
$500 just to stay there overnight.
That's crazy. That is
Yeah.
crazy.
I
No,
was
no,
like, the convenience, I was like, is the convenience worth $500? Because I have to pay for my dog, I have to pay for
uh,
parking, food is included. Me and my daughter would be with me. Um,
mm,
I booked an assistant for the night. That I included that. The hotel room, yeah, everything would total up to $500.
no, ma'am.
It's not worth it.
No, ma'am.
It's not
Not
worth
for one
it.
day. No, no, no. That's
Mm-mm.
a ticket going somewhere.
Yeah.
Hello. We're
Hi,
starting
Lola.
to fall in. Hey, y'all. Hey, Lola. Y'all share for me and also like and subscribe, please, while you guys are in here.
Let me see if I can find it on YouTube. Let me see.
Yeah.
Because the links you sent me were.
All right. I see y'all coming on in here. Get in here. Get in here. Y'all late. Y'all 4 minutes late. Come on in. We waiting for y'all.
Let me see. Let me see. Yeah. So how's everything going on your end though? Like with work and
Work is good, same
yeah.
old, same old. Work is good. I'm just trying to juggle everything. Now that I'm 100% remote, I have more time to do stuff.
Right.
I just got to be more strategic. Hi, Nancy. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. See.
And just to let you guys know, this is for single parents in general. This is just not for the single moms. Sabrina happens to be a single mother, so that is the topic of today.
Fact.
But this is something that we want single parents to hear and relate to. So we definitely we ask that you guys share with everyone, single fathers and mothers. Like we want you guys to tune in so you can kind of hear what Miss Sabrina has to say for us all. Because she said she got something to say. Okay.
Yeah. It's stuff that I definitely want to talk about stuff that I'll wait.
Stuff that
Let me see. Okay, here.
Yes, I know. I know you got something to say, child.
I do.
All right, share with your friends, you guys. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get started as we, they'll start flowing in later on. If it's Taco Tuesday, and that's the thing. It's 2/22/22. Happy 2/22/22. It's Good Love
Right.
Tuesday. Some of you are enjoying your Taco Tuesdays. Now, y'all should have been responsible. Hello, thank you for coming in. Y'all should have been responsible and got your tacos and your margaritas before the show, so you could be sipping on your margarita while you're sitting here listening to all this tea. You
Okay.
hear?
It's gonna
Okay.
be some good tea too, and
It's gonna be
it's never gonna be two 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 ever again. Today
Right.
is gonna be, so this is a special day,
It's a
lucky number
special day.
2. So we gotta
2/22/22.
right, we gotta do the pick 3 and the pick 4 and the pick 5,
Yeah.
2 2 2 2 2s.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I know they had where I went to Taco Tuesday was Pallet 22, and it was their anniversary.
Oh wow!
And it's 2/22/22. So they had I had a slew of stuff for like $28. It was like $2 drinks, $2 tacos, $2 everything.
Oh wow! That
Yes.
sounds fun.
Yeah, yeah. So I was like, okay, let me not get too lit so I can be focused for y'all.
Right. But we're gonna always have a good time, so it doesn't.
Always. I know, we'll talk about your stuff afterwards because me and Sabrina just saw each other yesterday on her YouTube channel. We had a blast.
Had a ball. I did not want it to end, honey.
Yes, none of us did. We were on there for a good 4 hours. That was the Little Black Book interview.
I know, and it was so worth it. And when we got off, I just was like, God, I missed them already. Like,
I know.
I didn't want it to end, but we always have such a good time together, man.
We always do. It's always a good time.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and get into this. So you guys, as you know, today's topic is being a single parent and dating while being a single parent, and just some of the obstacles that our parents go through, men and women. And also, I think that Sabrina's going to tell her point of view on what it's been like for her, and also some pointers on people who are dating single parents and just kind of acknowledging and being considerate of certain things because it's a different type of flow when you're dating someone who has a child. So let's go ahead and get into this. Sabrina is my girlfriend. She's my castmate. She's an author, a fashion designer. She is what else? You're everything. Like you're an author, you're a fashion designer. She has her own YouTube channel, which we're going to go into all of her credentials of where you can find all of her information. But she's also, Sabrina, you are a motivational speaker, or you do?
I do public speaking. I'm a wardrobe stylist. I'm a published photographer. So
she is a woman of many hats. This is a busy lady and very talented. She's also a dear friend of mine. As you guys know, we were both on Ready to Love. Sabrina made it to the end and chose herself.
That's me. Man, people still be inboxing me about that.
They're like, girl, good for you. Yeah. So, she chose herself, and we are happy for her. So, what have you been up to? How's everything been? Let's kind of start with the surface of things right now. How have you been?
I've been well. Life gets challenging because at the end of the day, even though I was on TV, for reality TV, I'm still like a regular human being, a regular person with real life challenges.
Yeah.
And, just dealing with my household and just trying to, I guess, bring everything back to normal because a lot of people don't know, and you personally don't know exactly how much your life can change after being on reality TV.
Yeah.
You don't know, you don't get it until it happens. Like, you will never understand. There's no one. It's
Yeah.
those situations that when people always say to you, until that shoe is on that foot, you'll never
Mhm.
understand it. you
Yeah.
know
And
uh
it never goes back to normal.
Never,
Mhm.
never. Yeah. And one thing for me is that when that happened for me, now when I go places, people are like, "You're Sabrina,
Mhm.
and prior to me going on the show, it is one of the things that I did think about, and I had to be mindful about how my life was going to change because I am a single mom and I do have a small child.
Right.
And that was one of the things that was important to me, was how was it going to affect my daughter, who is 9 years old.
Mhm.
Um, you know, um, Before I actually went on the show, I had a conversation with my daughter. I was like, "Guess what, baby?" And she's like, "What, mommy?" I'm like, "Mommy's gonna be on TV."
Oh
She's
my
like,
God.
"You are?" So, like, I literally I wanted to sit down, like, before I even signed my contract for Ready to Love, I wanted to make sure it was going to be okay with my daughter before I even signed my contract.
Of course.
And
Yeah.
she and we had a long conversation. I actually showed her prior episodes
Mhm.
of Ready to Love, just so she would know exactly what kind of reality TV show it was,
Right.
or that it is. And I was like, "So are you comfortable with, mommy doing this show?" And she was like, "I think so." She was like, "But you have to promise me one thing." And I was like, "What, baby?" She was like, "You can't kiss anybody on TV."
Oh,
And
she said that?
oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
wow.
She's very
Wow.
smart. She's very
Yeah.
smart. She's 9, but she's smart.
Yeah. It's like, "I don't look good, mommy. I don't wanna see it."
Right, and if you really think about it, I never kissed anybody on
You
camera.
didn't. You did
Yeah,
not.
because it was my promise to her.
Mm.
So, and that's something that I told her, but I did say to her, I said, "If mommy does kiss someone, that means that mommy really, 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 really likes that person, and you're probably going to meet them. And I'm
Mhm.
probably going to be dating that person
Mhm.
because I met them on the show, and it's like now I'm going to bring them into my real life." And
Yeah.
she just was like, she was like, "Okay, well, I don't want you to kiss anybody, but I'm just letting you know." And she was like, "So if you do meet someone, is this person going to be my daddy?" I was like, no."
Oh,
Like, you have a
yeah.
father, okay? He just
Right.
isn't here, okay? So I had to have those tough conversations with her, prior to me going on the show.
Now,
And
how old is your daughter?
she's 9 years old.
9. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah,
Mhm. And I know that you guys are extremely close.
we are.
Right. Very, very close.
We
You
are.
do everything, and I think this is good parenting. Every decision you make is for your child. I know that about you. Like,
Yeah.
anytime, even when we were on the show, like, I remember you and Courtney having like mom guilt,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
not being like, you guys were having breakdowns of just being
Yeah.
away from your children. Because I mean, y'all don't know, but we were recorded for hours and hours and hours, and Sabrina
Yes.
stayed to the end. So this was like, what, 2 months of you being away from your daughter for
Yeah.
long extended periods of time in which you're
To
not
this
used to that.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So luckily for the first maybe 6 weeks, 6 to 7 weeks of filming, she was with me.
Mhm.
But I still would go and film 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours a day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, which
Yeah.
was cool, but it's just, it would have been okay for me. I would have felt okay, like if she was in school or she was doing something at that time, but she was just kind of at the house waiting for me to get back. So that was like the only downfall. But the last 2 weeks, she actually was with my mother.
Okay.
She was up, she was in Maryland with me at the apartment. And my roommate at the time, she worked from home. So it was just, a convenient situation. But
Mhm.
then the last 2 weeks, Sador was with my mom. So that was the thing, because she was back down south.
Mhm.
So that's when I didn't see her for those 2 weeks. And thank God it was only for 2 weeks, because I don't know if I could have gone a whole 8 to 10 weeks without, seeing her. Because every time we would get a day off, I was driving back down south just to spend 8 hours or 10 hours or how much ever long they gave us for that one day that we had off. I would drive south for 2 hours to go be with her for a few hours.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I did what I had to do, you know?
You did. You
So,
did.
yeah,
Wow, I know that that was very hard for you.
it was.
So now that we know how an amazing of a mother that you are and how
Thank
focused
you.
you are on being there for your daughter, and we've gone through the reality show, and you were like, okay, I chose me. How is dating now? Are you currently dating anybody?
I am not dating anyone.
Okay.
I literally, so I've been single for about 2 years.
Okay.
After the show, I mean, after that last relationship 2 years ago, between that last relationship up until the show last year of July when we started filming, I had only been on one date.
Mm. What
One
one
date,
date for previous of the show for within the last 2 years?
correct,
How? Okay,
correct.
we're gonna get into the why behind it
Okay.
because I know there's a why behind it.
Yes.
Okay, so one date, go ahead.
Um, so that date, it was someone that I knew previously from my childhood. We grew up together. So
Okay.
he went to a different high school. I went to a different high school, but he played basketball. I played basketball. So we knew each other like in high school years.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up getting married. They ended up getting separated, then a divorce, then time went on, and then he and I we rekindled. And he was like, I would love to take you out to eat. Like he kept asking me for weeks and weeks and weeks. He's like, I would love to take you out to eat. And I was like, okay. I finally said, okay. We went out to eat. We had an amazing time. Conversation was like that. It was amazing. He was a great guy. He has one daughter. He's an amazing father. Like I follow him on social media. I'm like, wow, he's a great dad. I was like, okay, this might be something outside of what I'm normally used to because I'm not used to really dating people from my hometown, especially where I am now in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Why is that?
oh God, that's a whole nother story, but
Oh,
I'll answer that after this real quick.
okay.
That's a whole nother story. So we went out to eat. Everything was great. At the end of the date, he goes, how are we going to pay for this? He was like, you can pay for it and I can cash app you my half, or I can pay for it and you can cash app me your half.
Wait a minute. So he had been asking you out multiple times,
Correct.
and you finally agreed because he said, I want to take you out to dinner.
Correct.
And you go out to dinner, and the ticket comes, and he said, how are we splitting this ticket?
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
And
Okay.
and I said to him, I was like, in real life, I could pay for the whole thing if you need me to. Like,
Because I,
if it make you feel better, you can leave a tip. I mean, I just don't know how this. I said maybe I haven't been dating for a while. Maybe I'm just out of the loop. Maybe dating just ain't for me. I don't
no,
know. I was
no,
like, is this how they do things now?
no, it's not. It's not. It's not. No, it's not. I am so confused by all of this.
Yeah, facts. And then
Uh,
it was so funny because he texted me a couple times after that, and he was like, hey, how are you? And I was just like, I'm good.
oh.
Wouldn't answer. He text me a couple of days later. Hey, I haven't heard from you. You doing well? All is well. And the next time he was like, I would really like to go out again. I said, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. And I said, because at this point now, you're going to keep texting me and you're going to keep getting these same answers. And I don't want to waste your time and I don't want to waste my time. I said, the first date that we went on, like, I really thought that we were going on a date as you were being interested in me and you wanted to like kind of, see where like maybe we could kind of develop something that's a little bit more than friends. That's just the impression that I got from you from all the times and the messages and the phone calls and everything that we've had up
Right.
until our first date.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, when you asked me to kind of go Dutch with you, I had assumed, and I don't like to assume, but I had assumed that that was a friendship kind of date because
Right.
ain't no man that's interested in me gonna ask me to pay for my meal that asked me out on a date. I said,
Right.
"So I must have misunderstood you." I said, I thought it was more of a interest, like a
Right.
love interest, or us moving towards that. And I guess it was more of just friendship. So I
Right.
was wrong for that. And honestly, at this place in my life, I'm not interested in having any more guy friends. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm good with that. I was like, we could be cool. And I was like, but you texted me every day, every other day, good morning, how you doing, all this. I said, you don't really have to do that. I said, because at this point, I was like, I'm kind of turned off.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you what he said. I probably, this ain't even the phone, honey. I would have to read you the text message because you would be
What
floored.
did he say? I hope he was
He's,
mature about it. No.
he was
Child.
mature, but let me tell you what he said. He pretty much goes, this is not quote, so not this is not word for word, but this is pretty much what he was saying. I am appalled that you would even say that you're offended that I asked you to pay. He was like, yes, I did ask you out on a date, but like we're not dating, so I shouldn't have to pay. He was like, and it's so unfortunate that you would assume that I should have to pay when what did he say? He was like, when it wasn't if you wanted me to pay, you should have pretty much established that before we went out.
It's your date.
And he was like, and I'm offended that you would even say what you said to me because I thought we were friends and friends should not have any expectations. Honey, I didn't even respond. He still be liking my pictures to this day on Instagram. He be liking my pictures. I still haven't responded.
I said what I said, sir. So good day.
And
Good
this
day.
was over a year ago. This was
That's
a year ago. And then he sends me like this pic. So after that, I didn't say anything. And then like a week later, he was like, hello. Of course, I'm not going to say hello back. And then like 6 months later, he sends me a picture or a video of him taking a shower. And he's like, I really hope I hear from you soon. I'm like, dude, you're
girl.
really not going to hear from me now. What's
Like,
wrong?
read the damn room. Okay? Read the room, sir. And
At that
if he really wasn't gonna pay for a ticket, like if you want to just spend some time with someone, tell him to meet you at a park. Tell him to meet you for coffee or something. But you're not gonna ask to go on a whole dinner date and expect for that person to be like, okay, we gonna go Dutch, and this was your idea. Child, you don't even want me to go into some of the bad dates I've had in my past where it's
so
like very disappointing.
right. So after being single from my last relationship, that was the first date I had went on, and that was the first and last date I'd went on, and my next date was on Ready to Love.
Wow. Okay. So you were like, all right, I'm not here for no games.
Yeah.
Like it's been 2 years. So
Yeah.
let's go into you being a single mom. Because what I
Mhm.
read, I actually pulled up some things where when you are considering dating someone who is single with a child, and these are some of the things that you should consider. And you tell me if you agree with this or not, and you let me know if this is something that you feel like, what are some of the key areas that you feel like people don't understand?
Okay.
So, one of the things is recognize it's different, meaning that someone like me who doesn't have any kids versus someone who does have children,
Okay.
it's the way that you, for me, to me, when it says recognize is different, that the approach needs to be different. Like you got to have an understanding that when you're dating someone who does not have children versus someone who does, it's going to be different. It's not going to be the same.
Absolutely.
Accept that her kids come first.
Mhm.
Take it slow. Be honest and upfront. Offer emotional support. Now, The emotional support part, I need them to elaborate. What do you think they mean by that? Offer emotional support.
So this is the thing. Being a single parent is hard.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we just want someone to just listen to us, listen to how our day was, listen to the challenges that we have to deal with our child. Because to be honest with you, being a single parent, like, you endure everything on top of you dealing with the outside world, on top of you dealing with your job, your friends, your family, you know what I mean? So just being there just emotionally, and not holding it against us, not holding us accountable for things, not really listening to what we have to say, too busy trying to speak over and not really listening to our issues that, we're having, and just being there emotionally, just being a listening ear, being a friend on top of like the lover, but being a friend also, you know what I mean? Just to
Mm-hmm.
just to be there for you. I mean, because it's so many times where I say to myself, I wish I had that one person that I could confide in and talk to them about my issues, because you don't want to call your friends. I mean, you just don't. It's some things that you just don't want to talk to other people about, but it's that one person that you know that you can trust enough
Mm-hmm.
that he's not going to go out here to this person and that person be telling your business and all that other stuff, because this is your mate. This is someone you're dating. So it's just a
Right.
little bit more personal. So,
Right. Okay.
yeah.
Makes sense. Um, okay, so be trustworthy,
Yes.
stay flexible, don't discipline the children. So, have you ever dated someone, because you were engaged previous of the show?
Hmm.
How was his relationship with your daughter? Like, what were the boundaries that he could not cross when it came to you and your daughter, and what was how involved did he need to be?
He was pretty involved. So, one thing about me is, especially if I'm bringing someone into my life that that's potentially going to be her stepfather.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I never wanted him to feel like, dang, I'm in the same house with this little girl. Like, I see this little girl is this, this little girl is doing things when mommy might be taking a nap and she's doing something that she shouldn't be doing. Like, I never wanted him to feel uncomfortable with saying, no, don't do that. As a matter of fact, give me your phone for 30 minutes, since you
Mm-hmm.
knew that your mom told you not to do that, or whatever the case may be. Like, I always allowed them to have some part of the discipline, but
Mm-hmm.
not like spanking or no harsh disciplining or anything like that at the end of the day. But I did want them to feel like that they did have a voice when it came down to, because inevitably this is the man that I'm going to be spending the rest of my life with me.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be her stepfather. So she
Mm-hmm.
does need to understand that, you know, this isn't your real father. You know who your real father is, but you need to listen to him too. He's an important part of our life, and you're not going to just be running over top of him. You know
Right.
what I mean? So I did give him, I mean, there were always boundaries, but I did
Mhm.
give him, some leeway and some kind of position that he played within her life.
Yeah. And that, I think that's important to have that conversation, especially
Yeah.
like, I feel like, and I saw this meme or with this video or something where
Mhm.
she was like, um, my kids are going to always come first. That's why they get their plate first, or something like that. And so
Mhm.
she was like, fixing her kids' plate over him, and
Mhm.
like that he don't have no say so on none of this. You know what I mean? What
Right.
is your view on some of the ladies? Because I feel like a lot of women could do this, and I know that they get into these new relationships, or they get remarried, and as far as the role of the man with their children,
Mhm.
like, what is your advice to them on how the conversation that you had with them and the boundaries that you created? Like, how did you handle that? Because I know that's not easy.
You're talking about with the man?
Yes, like with the man that they have a relationship with,
Mhm.
or even like that they're considering having a relationship with. Do you
Mhm.
think they need to have that conversation previous of like, this is your role with my child, and
Yes.
that is something that's
Yeah.
important to have, like, you
Yeah.
know.
Absolutely. One thing about me is communication is huge.
Mm-hmm.
So it needs to be where one thing about me is I always say communication is huge because I don't want it to ever be a situation where something happens and then it's like, wait a minute, what are you doing? And they're like, but we never talked about this, so you don't have the right to be snapping at me, and you don't have the right to be. And then it's kind of like, because we're not communicating, now it's happening in front of the child, so now the child is confused. It's just a whole lot of confusion. I don't like confusion. I like order. I'm very structured. So
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to me, I can't speak for everyone because everyone is different. Everyone's relationship is different. But for me, I'm just the type of person, especially when it has to do with my child, I feel like things need to be laid down. I need to tell you exactly how I feel about things. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. This is what I expect from you. This is how it needs to be handled. This is X, Y, and Z. But of course, I'm going to be here and he's going to be here. We're going to meet each other halfway, but we're absolutely going to have those conversations, those tough conversations, because I don't want those conversations to be had in the heat of the moment or right when the situation is happening and we don't know what needs to be done. Like it needs to be a situation just like you're at a job where you go through training for a job. You see what I'm saying? When situations arise, you've been trained on exactly how to handle the situation instead of them throwing you out there to the wolves and you trying to figure some stuff out and hoping that it's right. I don't work like that.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah, I feel like that's important to have that open communication when it comes to inserting someone else into your life with your child.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely. Because it's not fair to none of us for us to not know.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fair to the child. It's not fair to him. It's not fair to me. It's just not fair. But absolutely, open communication is huge, especially when a child is involved.
Right. So what? So let's go into the dating part.
Hmm.
What are some red flags that would tell you this is not someone that I need to date? As with you being a single mother, like what are some things that you're like, okay, this isn't gonna work.
Child, let me take a sip of my water. Hold on.
Take a sip of it, child.
So, red flags.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny you should ask because this is one of the things that I definitely wanted to hit on and I wanted to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
The world that we live in today is a crazy, crazy world. We have some strange people in this world. We have some dangerous people in this world. We have some ugly people in this world. We have some people in this world where we really don't know who they are because we really don't know them that well because what we see now, it's only been 4 months, we see their representatives.
Mm-hmm.
When you have children, it is very, very important that you really know who you're bringing around your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I'm saying that is because I can talk about it because it happened to me. It's not like I read about it or I saw it on social media or I heard about it. It's because I actually experienced it and I lived it. Um, I've been in 3 serious relationships within a 10-year period, okay, prior to me being on the show.
Mm-hmm.
One of those relationships, I was physically abused. That's how I became a published author. I wrote a book about it, or I was in a book where I talked about my story. And then, it was one time when he and I were dating. He and my daughter was probably about 2 or 3 years old at the time. And I remember her laughing and giggling, and she was like, hey, and you know how kids like they play hit you and
Mm-hmm.
you might hit them back and then they hit you and then you might, and she's only like 2 or 3, so it's not like she has a heavy hand.
Right.
So I remember being in the living room area and I remember him saying, and I heard him saying, stop hitting me, stop playing with me, stop hitting me. So she was like, hey, she's 3, she doesn't
Mm-hmm.
know what's going on. He was like, if you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. So I heard hey, and I heard that, and then I heard,
Oh.
and then I heard her come into the room, or she came into the room bawling, crying. And I was like, what the freak?
Mm-hmm.
This is the same man that punched me in my face in broad daylight at a gas station.
No, Sabrina.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
like at that very moment, I was like, the devil needs to get away from me. Okay. I don't know what I need to do, but I need to get away from this man fast.
Mm-hmm.
So that absolutely was a problem. And like I said, this was someone I was madly in love with. Everything was fine. He was perfect. Like he did all the things that I wanted a man to do for me. He was everything until that very moment. So when he had hit my daughter, at that point, I tried to have conversations with him, and then that's when I realized he's a narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
He's violent. He's not a good person. I need to get away from him. So from the time when he did that to my daughter and when he punched me in my face was a two-week time period. And within the 2 weeks, I was like, I need to get away from this man. Because when you're in a domestic violence situation, a lot of people don't understand. Sometimes it's not easy to just pick up and to just leave. You know what I mean? Even though he lived in over there and I lived over here, still, because he knew where I lived, he knew where I worked, he knew, you just have to be careful. You don't know what that person is capable of.
Right.
So that was an issue that I had. So this was one of the 3 relationships that I dealt with pre-Ready to Love.
Mm-hmm.
The second relationship that I dealt with was somebody that I thought I knew as well. And he was amazing. He actually had a little girl. She was 1 year younger than my daughter. And he was amazing. You know what I mean? And he actually was he was before the guy that did the domestic violence situation. He was before. So I'm jumping. But he was a great guy. He had a great career. Like he was a professional guy, you know what I mean? Suit, tie, go to work, briefcase, you know what I mean? He was a great guy. And I was like, he's like dang on near perfect. So make a long story short, I was actually engaged to this gentleman. So I actually have a video out, 3 husbands, 0 rings, or 3 engagements, 0 husbands. I have that video on my YouTube channel as well, where I kind of explain, not in depth, but I explain my situations and me being engaged and why, and the red flags and what I did wrong in those relationships. And yes, I was engaged 3 times. The first time I was engaged when I was 17 years old. And then the other 2 times was after, in my 30s.
Okay.
So he and I were engaged. Everything was amazing. We were supposed to be married that September. I had literally packed my whole life up, moved in with him into his home because he had a very, very big home.
Mm-hmm.
And it just made sense for me to leave where I was to go be with him. So I did do that. So I moved to Maryland to be with him in his home. I moved in January, and I definitely had seen the red flags. I chose to ignore those red flags.
Right.
By the time
We've all been guilty of doing that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to say I moved in January. By February or March, I want to say I started to notice even more red flags. Even though I packed all my stuff up, saw the red flags before I packed my stuff up, decided to pack up and move. Took my daughter out of her preschool, one of the hardest preschools to get into. I was like, once I take her out, I quit my job. I mean, I literally picked my whole life up and moved it over here for him because I thought that this was the man that I was supposed to spend the rest of my life with. Not 2 months into me living with him, I think it was that March I had found out. Mind you, we were supposed to be married that September. That March I had found out that so let me back up. So he went out of town. during Valentine's Day weekend. And he was gone for like 3 days. And what happened is he had moved his grandmother into his home because, like I said, he had a big home. And his grandmother was in Texas, but she was living on her own. And it was to the point where she couldn't live on her own anymore. And he didn't want to put her in an assisted living facility. So he went to Texas, got her, and brought her to Maryland. So she lived with us. It got to the point where, because she had dementia, and it got to the point where her dementia got really, really bad. And she was calling other family members, telling them that me and him was trying to kill her and all this, but because of her dementia. So he was like, I'm not going to go to jail because of her, because she's losing her mind, and her family members, the family members are really thinking that we're trying to kill her, and we're not. It's just because she has dementia.
Right.
He took her back down to Texas where all her friends were. She was like 87 or something like that. So he put her in an assisted living facility down there. When he went to go take her to take and place her in the facility, now we're going to rewind it back. In like Marchish time, I wasn't feeling right about him. We were supposed to be married in September. And I remember I started to pray about it. I was like, God, if this man isn't right for me, I was like, get him out of my life. I was like, whatever you have to do, I need you to send me a sign, because I moved up here for this man and I just feel like something isn't right about him. So I remember red flags. His attitude was changing. He was acting differently. Something told me out of the blue, Google him.
Oh, you didn't Google him when we got first started dating?
You got to remember, I had been single for almost 10 years before I got
Oh,
into the dating scene.
Yeah.
And then within 10 years, I'd only dated 3 men. But prior to that, I was single for like 10 years.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
So I didn't know too much about dating at that time.
Yeah.
Love bombing and all that crazy mess.
All that, the crazy stuff that we got to deal with now, child.
Right. I didn't know about that. I took everything for face value, and I was so naive, but I learned very quickly. Obviously, not that quickly, but quickly enough. Thank God. Hence why I ended up choosing myself on the bridge. But anyway, we'll get to that. Okay. So what happened is something told me to Google him, so I Googled him. When I Googled him, his mugshot popped up. And I was like, oh, shoot. This happened in Texas. I said, this was the week when he went to Texas to take his grandmother to put him in the facility.
Oh.
I started reading. He got arrested in a child prostitution sting operation.
Oh my gosh, Sabrina, no. Thank God for prayer. Because some told you to Google him. And you were about to marry this man?
In September. We had the venue. We put the deposit down.
Girl.
It was, like I had my dress, like I had my ring. We were about to get married in real life.
Oh my God.
Yeah. We had made a whole wedding page, a registry. We were about to be married. I was about to marry this man.
So your heart probably just dropped.
You have no idea. And he had the audacity to tell me, you believe that? I said it was 13 different police people, government officials, 13 different government officials that was doing the sting operation. It's a sting operation.
His response was, and you believe that?
He said he was set up by the police.
Oh, was it one of them internet things where they said that they 14 and 15 and he didn't care? He went up there and like on that, what's that show called? Girl, stop it.
As a matter of fact, the police report says it all. He actually was talking to someone that was underage.
Mm-hmm.
and it was an undercover police officer. And I want to say it was on that, it was something called Backpage or something, like
Mm-hmm.
Backstage or something. It was
Yeah.
like a place where you could, or it was either that or Craigslist. I can't remember, but it was all in the report. He was typing, he was planning this whole time while I was living with him as his fiance. He was planning this, emailing her, messaging her back and forth. Well, I'm going to be in town on this date. Da 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 da. She's like, well, what do you want? I want this. She's telling him how much it is, and da 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 da. Child,
And he knows, this is a child. That is crazy.
so that's why I'm real funny about like
Yeah.
my daughter and who I date and who I have around her, and you know what I
How?
mean? Because I will go to jail. Like I will go to jail if
Oh yes.
someone ever tried to do anything to harm her, or I would lose it. I would lose
Oh,
it. And
absolutely.
to think this is someone I'm living under the roof with, you know what I mean? So like my brain starts to just wander. Like, did he, like, I had to have that conversation with her. I'm like, hi baby, let me ask you something. You know, has anyone ever you know, and it saddened me and it sickened me that I had to even have those kind of conversations with her to make sure she hadn't been violated.
Right.
You
Right.
understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It was it was
That's scary.
it is.
Scary. So, needless to say, he did not
He did not.
violate her. Okay. Okay. Good.
Yeah. Yeah, he did not.
Um. So with that, with everything you've learned and have been through, um, how soon do you let the men who you date meet your daughter? Like, what do you think is a time frame on when you should let a man meet your child?
So, now, because like I said, since my last 3 relationships, the last one was the one 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And after that relationship, that's when I was like, I need to change some things up. And I
Mm-hmm.
guess that's why I've been single for as long as I've been. I guess that's why I've been celibate for as long as I've been. I guess, you know, a lot of things have changed. And in my head, if I were to ever get into another relationship, I absolutely probably would wait maybe 8 months to a year.
8 months to a year.
Yeah,
Okay.
because to be honest with you, I feel like within 6 months, even to 8 months, I feel like you're still meeting someone's representative,
Mm-hmm.
and just the expectation levels that I have and my standards that I have now with
Mm-hmm.
dating and with men is just so different now. So I feel like within 8 months to a year, I'll absolutely know by then if they on some fugazi stuff. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Now I know, Steve Harvey think he know everything. So I remember in his book or on one of his talk shows, he was saying that men should meet your children as quickly as possible.
mm,
Like not at the first date or anything, but the reason why he said that was to make sure that they actually get along with your kids, so then you won't fall for them and they meet your children and they don't get along with them. What do you think about that?
I mean, I get it, but at the end of the day, I mean, now if it's a situation where it's like, hi baby, I mean, you know, hey baby, this is mommy's friend Rodney, we're
Right.
just hanging out with Rodney and there's no, you know, interaction with me and Rodney, nothing, I could understand something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like that I'm just at an age, and I know my daughter, I think everyone's situation is different, but I think with my daughter, it's just, it's a little bit different. She's, like I said, she's very mature.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be 1 week, it could be 8 months, it could be a year. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
She's at a place in her life, even at 9 years old. She's like, if he makes mommy happy, then I'm happy. As
Mm-hmm.
long as he treats mommy good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I know that mommy would never have anyone around me that isn't gonna be good for her or for me.
Right.
So she's just at that place now. It's crazy to say because she's only 9 years old, but it's
Yeah.
the truth. It's the
Yeah.
truth. So
Yeah.
it just doesn't matter. She just knows that mommy's been through a lot, and mommy really does deserve to be happy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So she'll just accept whoever I accept, and
Right.
I just pray and hope that it works out. But we haven't gotten to that place yet. So
Yeah. Yeah. So
Mhm.
we got about 10 more minutes. I
Mhm.
want you, we can go over, it's not a problem. I want you to tell me what you what has been your frustrations with dating as a single mom? What do you want men out there to know? What do you want them to work on so it could be more successful? What has been your frustrations? Let it out, girl. Let it out, sister.
I think the main thing is men are going to do what men want to do.
Mm,
Period. They're going to chase who they want to chase. They're going to love on whoever they want to love on. It doesn't matter. When men realize who their wife is going to be, that's it.
mm-hmm,
She's going to get everything. Everything that she wanted from him, she wanted from him. That one lady is going to get everything that, and he could have only known her for 2 weeks. And this lady's been like, I've been off and on with him for 8 years. And he's never wanted to marry me. Nope, not at all. Men
mm-hmm,
know. But at the end of the day, where it all boils down to with me is the dang on cheating.
mm,
The cheating. Period.
okay.
Period, point blank. And that's probably why I've been celibate. That's for pretty much all my life, even with my entertainment jobs and with all the things that I've been through in my life. I've always been funny about who I laid down with because I was always afraid to catch something, to keep it 100.
Mm-hmm,
I was
mm-hmm,
always afraid of that. And to think that I'm actually I have to worry if I'm going to catch something from my husband or
mm,
my fiance or my boyfriend, the man that I trust, and he brings something home to me because he can't keep himself in his pants and he can't control his sexual desires. And there
right.
isn't a man that I personally haven't met yet that I've dated that has not cheated on me.
Mm,
So it doesn't matter how gorgeous the woman is, how successful she is, how financially stable she is. She got no kids. It don't matter. It doesn't
mm,
matter. If a man want to cheat on you, if he wants to sleep with somebody else, he's going to do it. And
mm,
that's the issues that I have. And that's just so unfortunate because I haven't met a man yet. I remember a long time ago, I had a conversation with this guy and he goes, I love my wife. And he was very well off. He was a millionaire. He was like,
mm,
I love my wife. I've given my wife everything. He was like, she wants a new car. I give it to her. She wanted to start her own hair business. I opened up a shop for her. We have two beautiful kids. I have a great life. I want nothing from this life. She is my dream woman. This is the dream life that I have always wanted in my whole life. I have everything. It's nothing that I need for. It's nothing that I want more than what I have right now. But you know what, Sabrina? I said, what? He said, it ain't nothing like new kitty
okay.
cat.
Mm-hmm,
He said, it ain't
mm-hmm,
nothing like it. He
mm-hmm.
said, I just can't stop. I was like, what? You just sat here and told me you had everything. You this, you that, you money, fudge, God, boats and houses and cars and jets and planes and trips and designer everything. And you said, but you just can't stop. And it's nothing like new kitty, but it's nothing like it. I can't stop, Sabrina.
No, he don't want to stop. It's not that he can't stop. He don't want to stop. It's a choice, sir. You got,
Absolutely.
because I bet
Absolutely.
if it would came to him losing her
Yeah.
versus new cat. Mm,
So it's just sad. I just really wish that like men would just understand like just the and I know it's just the thrill of it. A lot of times like you hear when men say it's no emotional attachment. A lot of times
mm,
it's just sex.
yeah,
Period.
it's the hunt
It's the
for
hunt.
the new cat. Mm-hmm.
Right. That's all it is. But you got this great woman at home waiting for you, and now you about to jeopardize and throw everything away just to say that you came, you saw, and you conquered for one
Mm,
night,
mm,
you know?
mm.
And that's something that I've had to deal with as well.
Yeah.
And I just refuse, and I really refuse. And I got to a place in my life where, and it's just so ironic, and that's why when I did the show, I was so open to the process,
Mm,
because in my real life, honey, I'm nobody's too.
mm,
If you got to pick between me or her and you confused, go ahead and just pick her,
mhm,
period.
mhm,
And that's how I usually just go through my life. So that's why the process was really like challenging for me, and I really had to, it taught me to be patient. It taught me to go through the process. It taught me, because honestly, the connection, the strongest connection that I had on the show, he had another connection as
mhm,
well. and
mhm.
and never once was I like, da 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 da, she da 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 da, why you da 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 da. Never,
Yeah.
never. And I thought that that was a turning point for me, in I realized how much I had grown and how much I had matured,
Mhm,
um through like dating, and if I was ready to date. That show really allowed me to see myself and say, Sabrina, you're ready.
mhm,
You know what I mean? The fact that I didn't settle, Sabrina, you're ready.
mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was a great experience. It was just an unfortunate one, because I really thought like it was just like a real dating show, and I was like, I could potentially meet somebody. Like, I
Wow.
was excited, you know what I mean?
Us who were on there being genuine and authentic, we're excited, and then got very disappointed to figure out it was
Yeah.
some bullshit.
But
So, when it comes to what do you want people to know, or just when men are stepping to a woman who is who is single mother, what is your advice on how they should, what mindset should they have on stepping to her? Like the term recognize that it's different.
mhm.
Why is it different on how you date a woman with children versus a woman who does not have kids? What is
So
it?
my thing with men, and one thing that they should understand, is that anytime that they go to a woman, especially if she has kids, if you guys aren't serious, leave her alone. Leave her
Mm-hmm.
alone. Don't even say nothing to her. Don't say nothing to her. Don't, if you just want to smash, if it's just a sexual thing, you need to let her know from the very beginning, because it's one of the hardest things to get wrapped up into someone, and you think that they're really feeling you and they really are trying to pursue a relationship with you, and you get all invested in this person. And once you get invested, guess what? Your kid's going to get invested. You're going to get your kid invested with them too. You know what I mean? Just to find out that he out here just playing games. So, and another thing is, men need to understand that we are a package deal.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Point blank. It's a package deal. You know what I mean? It's going to be times, when people are like, what you doing? What you doing? You want to go hang out? You want to go hang out? You want to go get something to eat? You want to go? Of course
Mm-hmm.
I want to do those things. But my daughter coming, like, you cool
Mm-hmm.
with that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
like a while ago, I remember, of course it was a while ago, my daughter, I think she was like 1 years old, so she had no idea. I met this guy and he wanted to go on a date, and in real life, I said, I'm gonna come on a date with you, and I said, but my daughter gonna come. He was like, oh, okay, how does your daughter? I was like, she like 9 months old.
Oh.
Something like that. I literally had the baby carrier, sat her down in the thing, put a little blanket up, put a little bottle in her mouth right beside me. And I was like, I'll take the salmon. I'll take the corn
Rubbing her.
on the cob, like in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to be mindful of that. And then it's like they need to also understand that at the end of the day, if you really trying to deal with somebody with kids, like there's a possibility, if you guys really like turn into something, like this might be your stepchild. So you need to like
Mhm.
keep it 100 from the very beginning. Like you need to think of this, especially if this is something that you're trying to really pursue. You need to kind of think to yourself, how is this going to look 3 years from now? How is this going to look 5 years from now? Is this somewhere that I wouldn't mind being? Ask
Mhm.
yourself those questions. It's okay. It's
Right.
okay. It doesn't mean like we're going to get married tomorrow. It doesn't mean we're going to get married in 5 years. It doesn't mean anything, but it just means that you're actually being mature and an adult enough to say, it's a possibility this can happen. And I don't want to get too wrapped up into Sabrina. And in real life, I really ain't trying to have no stepkids. Then don't
Mhm.
F with me. Leave me the
Mhm.
F alone. Because now
Yeah.
you hold me up from being with somebody that really wants to be with me and Sadora,
Right.
which is my daughter. So
Right. So do you prefer to date a man with children, or are you open to dating a man without kids? Or would you rather date a man who is a father already?
I mm, whew, I would prefer to date a man that already has children.
Okay.
I would prefer it. Yes. At this
Then
at
he'll
this
understand,
yes.
he'll
Yeah.
understand versus someone who'd be like, I don't understand. Why don't you have the time? And what's this? What's that? Yeah.
Right. And it would have to be a man that is actively in his children's life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a huge difference as well. Not just because he has kids, because he could have
Mm-hmm.
kids and ain't never seen his kids and don't spend no time with his kids and he don't know nothing. So I might as well date the man with no kids. You
I won't
understand
even
what I'm
date.
saying?
Yeah, when a man is not active with his children, I won't even date him because that
Yeah,
says something
right.
about his character. Like, why
Exactly.
aren't you involved with your kids? No, no, no.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So it has to be a man and it has and then even if it's like a co-parenting situation, like I completely understand because stuff happens. In my situation, it would be co-parenting if he was in her life, you
Right.
know. So but yeah, it can't be a man that has children but doesn't have a relationship with his children. So
What do you think? Because this blows me. Because and I don't know if they think it's impressive or whatever. But when men tell me, men who have children
yeah.
say, "Oh, I don't date women who have kids,"
Yeah.
that blows me.
Yeah.
And I've heard so many men who say that, and I'm like, how are you gonna? But then you want somebody to date your raggedy ass with your children who
Oh,
don't
these
have
are men with kids that say they
men.
don't want women with
Yes,
kids.
yes. Men, I've heard it multiple times where they're like,
Wow.
oh, well, yeah, they have kids, but they won't date women with children. And it's baffling to me. And one of the complaints that I've heard from men is they say the reason why is because they feel like women, and I'm like, I feel like this is a good characteristic about women. Honestly, I think men are doing themselves an injustice when they're not dating a woman who has a child, because I
Right,
feel like women are those type women who are mothers already, they're natural caretakers, they're selfless, like they
right.
already have that giving and
Yes.
loving selfless love,
Mhm.
versus like for me, I'm always by myself, so I'm making my own plate. I'm used to catering to myself. I'm a nurturer by my personality. But if it wasn't for that, like a mother versus me, I feel like it would be a better match of what men usually like when it comes to a feminine woman or whatever.
Right.
Um, so it's just interesting to me when they say, "Oh no, I don't date women with kids," and they got like four
Crazy.
or five kids themselves.
Yeah.
Like, really, it's interesting.
Wow.
Mhm.
I've never heard men with kids say they prefer a woman without kids. I've never
Yeah,
heard that. That's
yeah,
ludicrous.
it is. It's a little bit of a hypocrite, because and what they tell
Yeah.
me is, oh, it's because women with children are so involved, and they're just all about their children, and it's hard to get them away. So when the woman who don't have kids, it's easier for her to get away, and I can just, I want to do something. So I'm like, oh, so you being selfish. So it's about your
Right.
time, and when you want to do something, you don't want to actually have to work and make plans with somebody. It's just it's crazy. But I've heard that before. But you've never heard that before.
I've never heard that. That is
Mhm.
so crazy.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
that's
That's
the
what
only
I was
thing I
asking.
could say about that.
Yeah. I know,
It
because
doesn't
that's why I
even
was
make
asking you, would you
sense.
date? I know it doesn't. Which that's why I was asking you, would you date men? What do you prefer? And you prefer. It makes sense for you to prefer a man who is a father already, because he understands the needs of a parent and how important
Right.
time is and planning and all that stuff. So
Right.
it's just child.
Yeah.
So anything else that you want people to know, or men who decide to date a single mom, what your message is to them on when they're approaching single moms, outside of what you just told us? Is there anything additional that you want anyone to know, or the
No.
men to know specifically?
Yeah. No, pretty much what I said, just be mindful that, because we as single mothers, like we're just honestly, most of the time we're at a place in our life where we're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Like think about it. What single have you ever met a single mom that is like, I don't want it. I don't want no relation. I'm done. No, I'm in the streets right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like what honestly, like when was the last time you really heard a single mom pretty much say that?
Mm. No, I haven't heard it.
Most single moms are like, Dag, it's unfortunate that, it didn't work out with me and the child's father, but yeah, we would love someone to be there. We would
Mm-hmm.
love to, but a lot of times men, they meet single women like myself, and it's like kind of like a turnoff in a sense. It's just an unfortunate situation because in real life, like I've never looked for a father for my daughter. I've never looked for a man to have in my life because she needs a father figure around, or like it's just
Mm-hmm.
never been like that because she wants for nothing, she needs for nothing. I discipline her exactly how I need to. She's very smart. She's a straight A student. Her vocabulary is very extensive. She is a business owner. You know what I'm saying? Like but to have a male figure around to teach her the things that she needs to be taught that I can't teach her. Of course, I would love, for them to be around for that and for her to have a father figure. But is it something that I need? Nah.
Mm-hmm.
It would be cool to have, but if I don't have it, I'm cool with it. And as a matter of fact, so is she. She's even said it to me, like in real life, mom, I don't need no daddy. Like I know I got a father, and I know he's somewhere doing some other stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully one day he call me. But in real life, mom, like you good. She's
Yeah.
like, you do everything for me. You're a great mom. Like I love you so much. Like, like I get it. Like, and these are conversations that I have with my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and it's important that us single parents have these type of conversations with our children like that, because in a sense, they kind of grow up faster too, you
Yeah.
know because they kind of have to, you know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? So because I'm out here playing, mom and dad. Like I'm like, when you meet a man, he need to open the door for you. He need to pull
Mm-hmm.
out the chair. He need to do this. He need to do that. So I'm that father figure. So all the things that a father would teach their daughter, I'm doing that for my daughter as well too.
Yeah.
Letting her know, like, if he put his hands on you, that's it. No, he ain't good. He is trash. You need to
Mm-hmm.
leave him. So I'll literally, but when she sits down, like I'll pull her chair out or I'll open the door and I'll be like, come on, baby. Like I'll open the door for her and I'd be like, you see what I just did? She'd be like, yeah. And I'd be like, what did I just do? So if I ever get a boyfriend or my man, he needs to open the door for me like you just did. Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's something that I have to do, for my daughter. And I don't mind doing it, but
And that's why it's so important for what you bring around her too, because you don't want what you've taught her
exactly.
to go back and she's like, well, mom, you just told me not to deal with this, and that, and then you
Right.
got this raggedy, he said, whatever, in our
Exactly.
face. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's very important to, as you're
Right.
teaching, also show and be an
Right.
example.
And that's
Mhm.
why I have to be mindful about who I end up dating and who I have around my daughter. Because just
Right.
like you said, I don't want it to be a contradictory situation where, now I have this man in the house that's a dusty and he don't
Mm-hmm.
work, he don't do nothing. He's calling her, telling her, hey, baby, go bring me a beer, bring me some
Mm-hmm.
chips, you see what I'm saying? So it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like it defeats everything, like you said, that I've taught her, and I don't want it to be like that. So that's why I guess I am now in a place where I'm very particular about who the next man is going to be, that I date. If I don't find a man to date, if I don't date anyone, it is what it is. I'm
Right.
not pressing it. I pray about it. The man or the person that I'm supposed to be with will come into my life when they're supposed to come into my life, but I'm absolutely not going to press the issue. I'm just not going
Right.
to do it.
Right.
Hence why I'm still single. I'm not going to
Mhm.
settle. I know my worth. I know what I deserve, and I want the best,
Mhm.
because I mean, I feel like I'm
You
an
deserve
amazing
the
person.
best, Miss
Yeah.
Sabrina.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. And I just feel like I haven't found it yet.
Well, listen, y'all. Sabrina's single. She is beautiful. She is wonderful. She is beautiful. She is wonderful. She is single. She's a great mom. She's smart. She's intelligent. If y'all gonna slide in her DMs, you better come correct.
Yeah.
Don't come with no BS, and you better be ready. Okay?
That's
And
probably
you
why don't nobody slide in my DMs no more.
like, maybe I shouldn't slide in. I don't think I'm worthy.
Right. They don't men do not slide in my DMs.
Listen, I told you the gargoyles be sliding in my DM. Anybody be sliding, everybody think they got a chance, apparently. It's like one eye Willie be slide up in my DM. I've been like, nigga, have you ever been with a woman that looked like me? I'm not trying to be conceited or anything, but one eye Willie, you got one eye, one tooth,
Child,
girl
yeah.
looking dusty. I told you they selfies, they have all you see is eyes and nostrils because it'd be so close.
Yeah.
It's just a joke. It's a joke. So I'd rather have no activity than the activity of the
Yeah.
monsters that I have in my shit.
Yeah.
So what first of all, thank you so much for taking your time
Thank
and
you.
talking to us because I think this is something that's important that we need to discuss as single parents and also people who want to are dating single parents and or who's a single parent themselves, just to let them know that you are not alone and that these are ways to try to successfully date, and there's nothing wrong with not settling. You have to be specific on
Yeah.
what you bring around your children. I remember my mom, after her and my dad divorced, she was pretty specific for a while. Unfortunately, she did end up with a couple of raggedy niggas, but we're not going to get into that. But she definitely was protective of us during her dating phases and making sure she wasn't just bringing anybody around us and nobody could get close to us for a very long time. Like
Yeah.
she didn't bring a bunch of men around us to be introducing because she had three girls and three beautiful
Mhm.
girls where she was like, look, and my mom has been through some trauma as well. So she's like, I'm not about to set my kids up to be having just any Joe blow up in my house.
Right.
So, it's really important. And also, like we said, it's a different type of dating phase. Like dating someone who's a single parent, you got to be more considerate of their time. Don't waste their time. Like
Yeah.
just move around.
Yeah.
So, Sabrina, throw out your credentials. She got some things going on. She got her YouTube channel. So let us know how they can find you, and also your YouTube channel as well. Let us know.
Okay, so I do have a YouTube channel where I do live reviews of actually this season of Ready to Love.
Mhm.
I have live panels. I just did one last night with Carrie and a couple of the
Mhm.
other castmates. My YouTube and my Instagram and all my socials actually is pretty much at Miss Sabrina Soul. My YouTube channel is Miss Sabrina Soul. It has to do with lifestyle, fashion. I do a lot of vlogs. I'm about to post another vlog tomorrow. You can follow me on Twitter at Miss Sabrina Soul, on my Instagram, Miss Sabrina Soul. I have a clothing line. You can go to sabrinasoul.com or shopsabrinasoul.com for the
Mhm.
pieces that I have on my site. Some of the pieces I actually wore on the show are Ready to Love, and they are available for
Lovely
purchase.
warrior necklace. Oh, I just love that.
Are you
The
talking about the bold and beautiful one?
Yes, the bold
Yeah.
and beautiful. It just makes me want to be like Wakanda forever.
I, facts. And if you wear it with the right thing, honey, that necklace,
Listen, because you was wearing that necklace, child.
I
You
loved it.
were.
I loved
Mm-hmm.
it. I love a good neck
Yeah.
piece.
You have some beautiful neck pieces, like the one that you wore on the bridge. That one
Hmm.
was beautiful. Like
Diamonds are
yeah,
forever.
make sure y'all check her stuff out. She don't be, selling no raggedy shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Some good statement pieces. Yeah.
absolutely. I
Mhm.
appreciate you. Well, other than that, yeah, Definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. That would be amazing because I know we're probably going to have more live panels where a lot of people are requesting Carrie to come back. So, so definitely subscribe, and don't forget to subscribe to Carrie's channel. If you guys came over here tonight from my
Yes.
channel, from my page on Instagram, definitely go and subscribe to her channel as well. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up on your way out, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Carrie, for having me. I
Of
appreciate it
course.
so much, and I love
Thank
you. Thank
you. I
you.
love you more. I love you more. Thank
Okay.
you so much. Well, thank you guys for joining us as always. Good Love Tuesday. So we see you guys next Tuesday. I think Sis will be back with. We'll have a whole new topic. Thank you, Miss Sabrina, again. Of course, we're gonna want you back in the future. So
Yeah.
we'll talk about it. But yes, thank you guys so much. Have a great night. It's 2:22:22. So y'all try to end this night great. All right. Bye.